Hi everyone, today we're going to make our first simulation in Insightmaker. The first step is to go to Insightmaker. I've made a little account here and log in. If you haven't made an account, you just basically register an account with a password from Insightmaker. So the first step then is to create a new insight or new model. So we click on this button where it says create new insight. And you get this little folder here, which has our information regarding the overall factors of the model, the steps that we go, diagram, simulation, analyze, and so on. It's quite useful, and there are links to various help along the way. The first thing before you do anything is you should save your model. The way this works is that this is being stored online, so there's no software required, but we do need to save as we go. And so just like your assignment, the first thing to do is to save the insight. So I'm just going to call this BAS Introduction Model. Tags are also useful. I would put in BMA 708, BAS Model, which is the name of the innovation model. The description is information that you'll be providing to the user about how the model works. Make sure you save this as a public insight so I can access it. So when you submit your assignment, all you're doing is submitting the link. Then click Save here. And you can see over here on the other screen, it now comes up with some information about the model. As I do this, I can update this by clicking on the Edit Info and adding some more things in. Okay, so the next thing to do is to create the first parts of the model. Now, as in the notes, there are three, these are called primitives. This is a systems dynamics simulation. Stocks, which are amounts, variables, which are factors which influence those amounts, then you've got various lengths. So the first thing we'll do is create a stock, and we'll just label this as users. So you can either label it over here or on the diagram here. Okay, now we're going to create a flow to the users. A flow is something that makes something get bigger or smaller in an amount. Notice that the line goes the other way. We just want to change the line by just clicking on the reverse arrow here. This flow, of course, is adoption. Okay. Now, we want to give the users, we're just going to click back on users, we want to give them an initial value. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them an initial value of, say, 1,000. We need to have something in the stock or some measures, otherwise the simulation won't work. Now we're going to add the one variable to our model. And so we go to primitive and we select add variable. Drag it over to the side. And we're just going to call this variable rate. Now the value of this variable sorry, there's just a few things I've just got to move myself around here. All right, so the value of this variable, rate, is we're going to enable a slider value because we want to just test various rates of adoption. The maximum, because this will be a percentage, will go from 0 to 1. We could have a step of 0.01 if you like. And so you can see now it puts in something called a slider. A slider is a variable, or often called a parameter, in our model. The next step then is to link this, because this rate of adoption, this rate is going to affect obviously the rate of adoption. So we then click on this button here which says links. And then we draw a line, make sure that this changes colour like that. That flow line changes colour. Now we're going to put in a very simple equation which explains the rate of adoption. So we see where it says here flow rate equals. What you then do is you can click on this expand button here. Again, I'll move myself out of the way here. And you can see that the measures, the stock which is used plus the variable should be showing. So the rate of innovation is simply the number of users times asterisk for times the rate of adoption. And then you click on apply. Right, so that's basically our first simulation almost done here. So let's have a look at how the model works. First, we've got to give it a rate of acceptance, because if we do 0, nothing will change. And then just click on the simulate button over here, and you can see there's the simulation developing for us. And it's a typical bell curve. There is a small increase, and then suddenly it gains momentum. All right. The other thing we could add to this simulation is a button just to make the simulation run. And so that's another dynamic. It's called an interactive button down here. So we're going to add this button and we'll just drag it over to here and we'll just give it a name. Now, to make this button run, we hold down the Shift key and it brings up this this action. And what I think we put in here is run model. I think this is correct. Okay, and click off that. Now when we click on it, it runs the model. The other thing we might want to add just to make the simulation a little bit more explanatory is to add a text box. And there you go, there's your first simulation. Noticed how it saved as we went. Thanks, see you next time.